Hello, procrastinators, and welcome to the penultimate award for Nerd3's Game of the Year 2023. Well, in this case today, the second best game of the year, the runner-up, the silver medal, place 2. This is a fantastic fucking game that just missed out on the top slot, and this was the closest run competition ever for months now. I have had 2 games and I've been going, oh, it's this, no, it's going to be this, no, it's going to be this, no, it's going to be this. It was always these 2, but I could never quite work out who it was going to be until I sat down and I literally had to write out a list of all the things I liked about both and compare, and I eventually decided that this game was getting second place. Still a 10 out of 10. Right, this is still a game that I would recommend to literally everybody who breathes fucking oxygen, but it just wasn't quite my game of the year. Just not quite there, and I will explain why as we go. Because I'm going to give the award for the second best game of the year to Baldur's Gate 3. I have known about the existence of Baldur's Gate 3 for less than a year. I think it was during one of the Jeff Keighley-fronted fucking awards things where a trailer came up and I was like, oh, that looks like a Larian game. It looks like Divinity Original Sin 2, which is a game I very much enjoyed. It came to quite late, but I really enjoyed. And chat was like, yeah, that's Baldur's Gate 3. That's the next game by them. And I was like, oh, that's getting pre-ordered. And I'm so glad I fucking did that. I'm so glad I did that stream and I didn't let Baldur's Gate 3 slide me by, because Baldur's Gate 3 is the best RPG I've ever played. And not just CRPG, not just a computer RPG. That's how old this fucking style of RPG is, that we call them computer RPGs. No, this is the best RPG. It's unbelievably fucking good. Like, I didn't know, like, shit all about it. I'm not one to go for, like, guides or anything. So I was like, bam, I'm creating a character. Oh, I can give them a Dark Urge. Well, that sounds fun. So that was my first playthrough, was a Dark Urge playthrough. With an elf and archery, quite an archery-focused elf, and I met up with the whole cast of Baldur's Gate 3, and not a lot of them survived. Yeah, bad things happened, and good things happened, and I felt like when I got to the end of the game, the story that was told was mine and mine alone, and that is something you don't get from games. Like, normally you're like, oh, I could do this path and this path and this path, but I felt like everything I was doing in Baldur's Gate 3 was changing shit up. Like, the amount of people have gone, oh yeah, there's this great quest with fucking Astonian, whatever his fucking name is, Vampire Boy, he does all these things, and I'm like, I killed him. Right? I killed him. He was fucking... One night I woke up and he's fucking leaning over me and he's like, oh, sorry. And I'm like, vampire was about to suck my blood. And I just stabbed him. I panicked and stabbed him in the throat. And that's it. He's gone from my game. Like, and I know nothing about that character. And then I get to the end of the game, and I'm discussing the end of the game with someone. I'm like, oh, yeah, who's your favourite companion? Because I love Lizelle. I really enjoyed the Klingon vibe, and, I thought that was a wonderful character. She really came out of shell. Romance interest, of course. Completely came out of shell. You really got to know her, and, wonderful. I mean, it could have been Shadowheart. Shadowheart, I met her, the religion she believed in, and fucking hell, she just left. Shadowheart walked out on me. That's fair enough. But then the person was like, oh, my favourite one was the dude with the hamster. What fucking dude with... I never met a dude with a hamster. There's a dude with a hamster? And it's bits like that. It's like, oh, how did you react? What did you do at this bit? I didn't do that bit. I thought I'd done everything. I thought I'd gone through, like, the majority of everything. But no, turns out there's big chunks I missed. Like, even early on, like, there's these big set of orcs and stuff. And I kind of just slaughtered them immediately. And I don't know. I think I'm supposed to have done something with them, or they would help me out in some way, but I panicked and got the options wrong and failed some rolls. And you will fail some rolls. Oh my god, Baldur's Gate 3 is the game of miss. You will need that's the one thing that it took me a little bit of time to get used to. Baldur's Gate 3 is a game where you will miss a lot. Those percentages are truthful, and sometimes they will hurt you. And that's okay, you will get used to that, and suddenly you'll be able to, you get the ability to do extra hits and stuff and leveling up, and it's so good. It's such a fucking enjoyable, fun, clever, brilliant, well thought out game, and I loved the ending that I got, and I loved that not everyone got a happy ending. I love that one of my crew became a space octopus, and one of my crew's definitely going to turn evil and sort of went off to do their own thing. And of course, Shadowheart wasn't there, and I killed the vampire. But, you know, it was... I got rid of my dark urge, so hey! It was great. It was an absolute fucking delight. The only reason that this got into the second best game of the year, and not the best game of the year, and this is how close this fucking was Act 3. And not because I felt like it was lower quality than anything else or anything like that. It's that the game forced me through Act 3 faster than I think I was allowed to go. Like, I think I could have gone a lot slower through Act 3, but I never really explored Baldur's Gate, because I get to Baldur's Gate, and for story reasons, I don't have a lot of time. And everyone's like, oh shit, we got to do this thing quickly. So I was like, oh shit, I've got to do things quickly. And so I did things quickly, and I never really explored and talked to everybody. So I think I missed a big chunk of content out in Act 3, because the game kind of was shepherding me along, and I wasn't looking at guides or anything. So I kind of was like, yeah, fuck it, shepherd me, baby, let's go, let's do this thing. And that tiny decision to just really... I would have liked a little bit of leeway to explore maybe a little bit more. Because I know there were some bits I'm pretty sure that things were on a timer of some sorts in the early acts, and not in... And I don't know, I got a little bit confused Act 3, and that's it. That's the only reason that this slipped the second place, because like, that bit there, I think I missed a lot of game out. I think that bit of the game design, lacking. And that's it. Because everybody else you talk to is a fucking fully voiced... Everyone's fully voiced and fucking acted, and it's just... It's unbelievable that a game like Baldur's Gate can even fucking exist, let alone exist and be good. I mean, it's been a long time in early access, which is something I didn't really know. So if you have just any interest in video games... You need to play Baldur's Gate 3. I bet everyone said to you, play Baldur's Gate 3. You should probably play Baldur's Gate 3. My fucking surgeon was talking about it. When I had surgery this year, my surgeon was like, oh yeah, after this I'm going to go do Baldur's Gate 3. I'm like, oh shit. I was like, I've got to make sure I don't spoil anything, because you're about to cut me open. I actually got, at one point, this is where like the immersion stuff comes in. At one point, my character got like, there was a guy who was like, I could operate on you and maybe fix stuff. And I was like, all right, yeah. And it was clearly a moment where I feel like I should have like backed away, but I kind of was like, yep, keep going, way too far. And that ended up with like a unique little thing for my character moving forwards. And I just love that even being silly, stupid, weird decisions give you bits and pieces like that. It's great. And I love hearing the stories, like so many stories. Like there's a dog that can join your camp. And at one point I unleashed demons into the camp, and they kept going beelining straight for the dog. So I reloaded that battle like 800 fucking times. It's like, no, the dog must live. I managed to keep the dog alive, but somebody had the dog get like obliterated. And then they get like a squeaky ball out of their backpack afterwards and like throw the squeaky ball over the dead dog. And one of the companions makes a comment about how fucked up of a thing that was to do. Right? That's the level of, like, they know the shit that gamers do, and they were ready for everything. And it's just, it felt like a game that I could never wrong foot, I could never trip up. It felt like a game that was just so ready for the player to do whatever the fuck they wanted. And I loved every second. Even the seconds where it's slightly making me go a bit too speedy. But then again, I'm just going to play it again. And next time, Bard. I'm thinking Bard. Didn't really have any... I have Dark Urge, so I had one interaction with the Bard. But, you know, it's great. Play it. Anyway, tomorrow, Game of the Year. Play Baldur's Gate 3. I mean, you won't be able to finish it before then. But you should play Baldur's Gate 3. Tomorrow, Game of the Year and Christmas. I'm tired. Go to bed. Santa's coming. See you later. Ta-ra.